let's really break down what's been happening under the Biden administration. And President Trump, he not off the hook either, but we're gonna focus in on President Biden. I want you to check out this excerpt from that article from The Hill. The president is set to tout his economic agenda to argue building the economy from the bottom up. Ooh, Ida, I can't stand this slogan. Building the economy from the bottom up and the middle out. This is put Ida up, put the graphic up. I mean, you wanna talk about some lame, this is lame as hell, y'all. Building the economy from the bottom up and the middle out is working. Newsflash, baby, it ain't working. It's not working. He has often said he's tired of trickle down economics, which was part of the former President Reagan's Reaganomics. Why the hell you got Bidenomics? While at the same time reminding voters he is a capitalist. What in the new level of hell? Ida, what level of hell are we in? Because I done lost track.
You know what it is? It is a very big statement about the state of the educational system in this country and the education system and where people are. And now everybody, not just Donald Trump, everybody is insulting the American people because they make the assumption that these people do not have information and don't know what they're talking about. They speak with, they use these trigger words. They say the things that they want to hear. You know what? There's this elitism in this country where they look down on basic skills and plumbers and electricians where you can make a good living in this country. We are a hot mess. It is. The Kardashians have bled into the White House, and now that phenomenon that lives in Hollywood is living there now. These people want to be rock stars, they want to have brands, they want to be rich, they want to live a good life, and they don't give a damn about the American people. Crime rates are up. People are suffering. They can't go to the doctor because they don't have health care. It is getting worse. When you say from the bottom up, you have not been to the bottom. You're not going to the South Side when you go to Chicago to understand what is happening to the people. It is a constant insult and slap in the face of the American person that has to go to work every day. And for some reason, they hear these words and they keep supporting these people because they don't know any better. And if you don't know better, you can't do better.
That's it, from the bottom up to the middle out. Like you said, they ain't going to where nobody is at the bottom economically or in the middle. No. He gonna go there, get his press conference, and then they going to the upper echelons to raise a whole lot of money. That's what's about to happen in Chi-Town. And there's video proof of this. Do y'all remember during the race? I'm old enough to remember 2020. Look at this.
Talk to the voters that are worried about socialism and you raising taxes.
First of all, I guarantee, I promise, I've never broken my word. Anyone making less than $400,000 will not see one single penny in their tax raised. Number two, I beat the socialist. That's how I got elected. That's how I got the nomination. Do I look like a socialist? Look at my career, my whole career.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph. No, you don't look like a socialist. And yeah, you kept reminding people all during the 2020 presidential election, even as Senator Bernard Sanders from the great state of Vermont supported your campaign, but you made sure folks knew that you were not the socialist. No surprise there, dumping on the man even as he supported your campaign. And now looking at this president's entire career, looking at Biden, it would take far too long. So let's see if material conditions have really improved for people under his watch. This headline from just last year, 3.7 million kids just slipped back into poverty after the Biden child tax credit expired and Congress isn't restoring it soon. Y'all put Ida up. This is some BS, America. So don't believe what comes out of these people's mouths. Believe what they do. This was something that was purely in this president's control, and in the last Congress, where Democrats controlled both chambers, but 3.7 million kids slipped back into poverty. And if it was that easy for them to slip back into poverty, they wasn't that far from poverty when the child tax credit was a reality. But instead of these people making it permanent and expanding it and even increasing it, these cowards let it go away. Talking about the kids slipped back. No, they was pushed back. They was catapulted back into poverty. And if the kids are in poverty, that means that their mamas and their daddies in poverty too. My God, my God. And guess what? It still hasn't been restored because of Biden's insistence of shaking hands with the backstabbers, because he's one of them, like shadow President Joe Manchin and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. He says his economic plan is to build from the middle class, except there's just one problem. Between 1970 and 2021, the share of US aggregate income earned by the middle class shrunk from formerly 62% to just 42%. At the same time, aggregate earnings by those considered high income increased from 29% to 50%. Why? Because of unchecked capitalism. You know, the guy that just raved and bragged about, I'm a capitalist. Unchecked capitalism exploits the working class. He knows it, but he just doesn't care. Or how about this headline right here? Low income Americans face a hunger cliff as SNAP benefits are cut. The US Food Assistance Program offered expanded benefits during the COVID emergency, but they ended last month. And this map right here that we're about to put up for you paints a depressing but necessary picture to understand the share of individuals making near or below the poverty line. Do y'all see what's happening in America? The source of this is CNBC, and this headline from just last month seals the deal. Right here, only 33% of Americans approve of Biden's handling of the economy, new poll finds. So Biden claims he wants to build from the bottom up and the middle out. You can't, because there's no middle to build from. Aida?
You know, this whole the capitalism thing, you know, he's taking a page out of Trump's book. It is this aspirational delusion that they feed to Americans that they too can be where they are without accounting for the privilege and the hand that they have gotten and where they are, that the average American doesn't have that. They have been feeding American people this foolishness. The definition of socialism has been appropriated to scare people into not being China and Cuba, but they won't tell the truth about why they're peddling these stories to the people, because they have these people. How many of them states where people are slipping back into poverty and hunger are red states? How many of them? Because quite a few of them are. You know, this continuous story about healthcare, when it comes to the welfare, when it comes to assistance, look at the eviction rate has gone up. Like people are going back into, becoming unhoused. It is out of control. And they keep saying it is better, but when they don't, what they neglect to say, it's who it's getting better for, and it's them, the homies, the owners of the corporations, the CEOs, the people who have all the money in this country who are doing just fine. But go and poll the average American, and where you are in every single state, people are suffering. They are struggling. They can't keep their jobs. They're not getting paid a decent wage. They can't keep their homes. They can't feed their children. Their children are turning to the streets for crime. This is not a black and brown issue. There's a lot of poor people in this country who are white, who are on those SNAP benefits. And a lot of them will vote to spite. They will bite their nose to spite their faces. They will
cut their nose to spite their face. Yeah.
They keep voting for these people, and those people don't care about them, and it's gonna get worse.
Well, I said on the show yesterday that working class people don't have, most of these duopolies are cut from the same cloth. And what we need to do as working class people in this country is form solidarity based on being in the working class, not based on who's Democrat or Republican, but to forge a true alliance that takes into account all working people. Because if you ain't got a sugar daddy or sugar mama or sugar somebody, if you can't afford to take 3 months off, 5 months off, 6 months off, 7 months off, a year without suffering, if you are one major healthcare scare away from ruin, then you are in the working class. And we need, and some of us are, blessed to be maybe at the top of the working class, some are in the middle, barely, and some are at the bottom. But baby, we work for a living. And we need to form some solidarity to each other. Forget the duopoly, they are all together on this. Trust me, they go to dinner together, they socialize together, they hee it up together, laughing their butts off all the way to the bank. How is it people go to that Congress, many of them, in the working class and they come out millionaires. Hello, somebody, a bunch of somebodies, multi-millionaires. I mean, I ain't got nothing. I don't have nothing against wealth, but it's how you make your wealth. And they grifting their behinds off.